Chapter 110 Desperation. Akio brought Riel back to her home. She removed her shoes and crept inside her son's room to peek in. She bent down and kissed Hyungsik's forehead. He flinched, smiling in a deep sleep, and said in a low tone, "Mommy," delighting Riel of Hyungsik's calling her in his sleep. As she walked inside her bedroom, Akio filled her thoughts. She leaned by her door, imagining the kisses she had from Akio, and was like in a trance. She moved to her bed, and swung as she twirled her body, falling on the bed, and feeling thrilled. As she saw Akio's image holding her bare body to his, this romantic moment had been much anticipated. Being barren for so long, now she felt fulfilled as a woman. The following morning, Ruby accompanied Hyungsik to his mommy's room. He was shaking his mommy's arm, and then touched Riel's face, kissing her to wake her up, intended to remind her that she would go to the office. Riel opened her eyes, though a little dizzy. She hugged Hyungsik delightedly, and chuckled. "So you thought mommy would be late, huh?" And Riel hugged and tickled her son, so fascinated about Hyungsik's awareness of work. After a few moments, Hyun-ki arrived, and he was looking for his son. "The nanny," Ruby replied. "He's in his mommy's bedroom." Sir Hyun-ki moved toward the stairs, when Ruby stopped him. "Sir, I'll let Ma'am Riel know you are here." "No need. I'll go there myself, and see my wife and son." He briskly ascended the stairs, leaving Ruby and the other house staff speechless. Hyun-ki entered Riel's bedroom, and caught the mother and son having so much fun together. Hyungsik's laughter overwhelmed Hyun-ki. "May I join you?" asked Hyun-ki permissively, which startled Riel. "Who gave you a permission to enter my bedroom, Hyun?" Riel annoyingly asked. "Why was I prohibited from entering our bedroom?" asked Hyun-ki a little annoyed. "Hyun, this is my bedroom. You are trespassing. We are no longer husband and wife." Riel called for Ruby, shouting, which upset Hyungsik. With the sudden change in his mom's tone of voice, Ruby quickly went into the room and took Hyungsik, making the boy cry. "Please, Hyun, you can go out now and join your son downstairs. I still have to bathe and dress up for work." Feeling irritated, "No problem, I can wait here. Don't worry, I won't do something stupid, Riel," he said persistently. "Please, Hyun, please give me my privacy. Join Hyungsik for breakfast," Riel insisted. Hyun-ki stared at Riel, looking at her with longing. Then, feeling awkward, Hyun-ki stood and left. But he never totally left the room. He stood by the door and waited. When he heard Riel's steps toward the bathroom, he sneaked into the bedroom and sat on the sofa. Meanwhile, Ruby and two house staff saw Hyun-ki sneaked into Riel's bedroom, and they became nervous. "What are we going to do now, Ruby?" asked one of the maids. "Do you think Ma'am Riel would be in a dilemma? Sir Hyun-ki is no longer the husband. What are we to do?" Feeling panicked, "I have no other recourse but to call Sir Akio. He told me once that if Sir Hyun-ki does something foolish, I must let him know immediately. I have to call him now," Ruby said determinedly. Ruby dialed Akio's number unshakably. Akio was still in bed. His thoughts were about last night with Riel, but his contemplation was interrupted. "Hello, Sir Akio. It is Ruby. Please come over quickly. Ma'am Riel might be in a bad situation," Ruby reported without hesitation. "What do you mean, in a bad situation?" Akio got curious. "Sir, I'll explain later. You have to come quick," Ruby exclaimed. Akio became worried and fearful of what Ruby disclosed. He rapidly wore on his shirt and shorts, grabbed his sneakers, and sprinted swiftly to his Range Rover. He sped off swiftly, trying to maneuver his vehicle from the cars driving along the highway, trying to overtake and outrun one after the other. Upon seeing Akio's car racing toward the gate with continuous honking, the gate guard swiftly clicked the electronic gate, simultaneously scratching his head, wondering why Akio Hinode was speeding like a bullet. Akio suddenly braked and jumped off his car, sprinting to the hallway where the maids were waiting. Ruby met him nervously. Sir Hyun-ki sneaked into Mrs. Riel's room. "Sir, and did you hear that? She's already screaming." Akio rushed towards the stairs and forcefully pushed the door. Hyun-ki locked inside, and in the same time little Hyungsik was crying in a shrill tone. Feeling afraid to hear her mommy's screams, Akio became desperate that he strongly kicked the door and was forced open. Previously, after getting out from the shower, Riel got shocked to see Hyun-ki in her bedroom. "Why did you fool me, Riel?" Why Hyun was fuming in desperation. Riel walked backward, trying to avoid him. "What do you mean? You were the one who fooled around, Hyun. Please don't step closer, or you'll face the consequences." She was bewildered. When Hyun succeeded in closing in on her, she profusely cried. Hyun grabbed her face and roughly kissed her so hard that her lips bled. And Hyun was not satisfied. He started to move on her, holding her body tight while kissing her roughly. Riel was fighting him, trying to cut loose, but Hyun overpowered her. I respected you, Riel. I never forced you, because I believed I hurt you so much, so I waited until you learned to forgive me. My intention for you was pure, but you fooled me. Why, Akio? Riel, you assured me that you were only friends. I couldn't believe this. Riel was crying nervously and begging Hyun-ki to stop. Please, Hyun, stop it. Stop it, please, implored Riel. Hyun was lamenting his dismay. Riel couldn't say anything but continued crying. Hyun-ki grabbed her hand and forcibly pushed her onto the bed. Luckily, Akio entered on time and grabbed Hyun-ki and pulled to hit him. You have no right to hurt her much more than violate her, Hyun. Akio was furious. Both struck at each other, punching each other's faces, while Riel was crying and yelling, begging them to stop. Hyun-ki fell at the last blow from Akio, then walked briskly towards Riel. Akio wrapped a blanket around Riel as he embraced her, comforting her from fearfulness. Hyun-ki pulled himself up and hurled profanities at both Akio and Riel. Best friends, huh? My foot! You have been playing on me since our marriage, and don't deny it. Was that boy really my son, Riel? No wonder Hyungsik was so close to him. You're so angry about my relationship with Rosemary, when you were the first who tarnished my reputation. Hyun-ki lamented. How dare you throw back to me your guilt? Be careful of your words, Hyun, or you'll eat your words in shame. Weren't you who neglected me? Weren't you who abandoned me? And who was there for me when I was alone and in pain? Who was there when my son was born? It was Akio, Hyun. He filled in the responsibilities that you should have given to us. And now you're telling me I was the one who tarnished your reputation? You're so evil, Hyun. Shame on you. Feeling disgusted, Hyun-ki felt defeated and sat on the floor, weeping, feeling pity for himself, repeatedly saying how sorry he was. Having found Hyun-ki in a sad state, Riel asked Akio to be alone with Hyun-ki. Hyun, it is high time we talk to settle our problems. I could not be silent forever about how I felt toward you and our breakup. Riel went to the study room, and Hyun-ki followed. Akio left them both and went to Hyungsik to comfort and play with him. Riel sat face to face with Hyun-ki and began. Do you remember that time when you had a meeting with your K-Mall staff? I saw you with Rosemary in the garden during the break, and you were so happy to see her. I would be stupid if I didn't feel angry and defeated catching you both affectionate to each other. But we're trying to control your emotions for fear that I might see you. But I did notice you. I faced her and asked her to return you to me for the sake of our child. But did she listen? No. Both of you never cared about how I felt. And you never cared about my situation. You even continued your relationship to the point of neglecting me. You knew I was at risk, but you went on with your rendezvous anyway. So when I was rushed to the hospital while your son and I were struggling for our lives, everyone couldn't reach you. You were having fun, having romantic moments with Rosemary. And when you found that my son and I were dead, did you try to find out what truly happened to us? You didn't even fight for your right to take my body and our sons for a decent burial. Did you mourn for us? No. Instead, you remained quiet and nonchalant. You didn't care, more so you never intended to visit our graves, if we had one. To make matters worse, you brought Rosemary to my house to live together, disrespecting me as your legal wife by disgracing my own home. Hyun-ki felt belittled of himself by this declaration. Hyun-ki remained silent, and Riel continued. Whereas Rosemary, now still in a crouched stance, Hyun-ki was lost for words. Riel continued. You already chose her long before my death. Why are you trying to get close to me when you already lived with her instead, Hyun? She said curiously. Hyun-ki was stunned by her question. Do you want me to continue living with her now that you're back? Hyun-ki threw back the question. Look, Hyun, I don't want to say this, but both of you were living together for 2-3 years now. We are no longer together, Hyun. We have our own lives to live with. The only thing that connects us both is our son. But that's it. Only our son. But for us to be together again, I am not in love with you anymore, Hyun. Please accept it, Riel reiterated. What happens now that Hyun-ki is desperate over Riel?